20 tips to setting healthy boundaries. Tip number 1. Know your worth. To set healthy boundaries, you must know your worth. If you do not know your value, you are unlikely to create and enforce effective boundaries. Tip number 2. Know your rights. An integral part of setting healthy boundaries is knowing your rights. In other words, setting healthy boundaries requires you to know that you have the right to be treated respectfully. Tip number 3. Know your values. To create boundaries, you need to know your values. Reflect on what you value in life and create boundaries that protect and endorse those values. Tip number 4. Listen to your emotions. The best way to create healthy boundaries is to listen to your emotions. Your emotions let you know if you feel uncomfortable or unsafe by certain words or actions. Tip number 5. Consider past and present. Your past and present will tell you a lot about your needs. Consider your past and present as the foundation for your boundaries. Tip number 6. Respect yourself. Though many people think boundaries are about constraint, they are actually about respect. Respect yourself enough that you create and enforce boundaries. Tip number 7. Respect others. Everyone has the right to set boundaries. For this reason, respect other people's boundaries, just as you would like them to respect yours. Tip number 8. Start small. If you are new to creating boundaries, start small so you can learn the basic skills. Then, move on to more challenging boundaries. Tip number 9. Communication is key. Communication is key to setting healthy boundaries. Communicate your boundaries respectfully and clearly, or else others will not be able to respect your boundaries. Tip number 10. Be assertive. When setting boundaries, be assertive. Let your language, tone, and body language reflect the seriousness of your boundaries. Tip number 11. Be respectful. Be respectful as you set boundaries. Approach people with a sense of respect so that they may respect you back. Tip number 12. Learn to say no. Saying no is one of the most useful tools for setting and enforcing healthy boundaries. If you feel uncomfortable by any request, simply say no. Tip number 13. Don't apologize. Whenever you are unable to meet someone else's expectations, do not apologize. Tip number 14. Be flexible. Make sure to keep your boundaries flexible. This will allow them to work naturally in your life, without causing any resentment. Tip number 15. Get used to being uncomfortable. Saying no and refusing to people please can be uncomfortable. So, get used to being uncomfortable. Tip number 16. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to say no, feel your emotions, and truly enjoy the experience. There is nothing wrong with any of these things. Tip number 17. Be prepared. As you are marketing on different sites, keep a consistent brand voice, and list the learning outcomes to attract a repeat client base. Be prepared for people to be angry at you. It is an unfortunate fact that not everyone will want to respect your needs and wants. Tip number 18. Create consequences. Create consequences alongside your boundaries. If someone does not respect your boundaries, enforce the consequence. Tip number 19. Don't back down. You may find that someone is trying to bully you from enforcing your boundaries. Do not back down, and stand firm in your boundaries. Tip number 20. Get help. If you have trouble creating and enforcing boundaries, seek help from a medical professional or close friend. They might be able to give you advice.